A second suspect has been tracked down in the heist at Walmart in the Villages. Villager accused in fatal country club attack to rely on a prestigious expert witness. Wildwood Police Department preparing for a second annual 5K run for autism awareness. An attorney traveling in a Jaguar with his girlfriend was arrested after a commotion at Wawa. An unlicensed Guatemalan arrested for his fourth time after a traffic stop in the Villages with no driver's license. Wildwood officials approve a new rental development of single-family homes. Villager jailed after allegedly using a knife to threaten her live-in man friend. A villager's son was arrested on charges of committing voter fraud. A villager suspected of shoplifting tracked down thanks to her Lexus. A daughter that was cut out of her father's will accused of ripping off her stepmother. A woman locks herself in the closet and dials 911 after a domestic battle in the Villages. How many holes in ones of golf did we get this week? Letters to the editor. And I'm going to go off on a rant. This and more coming up. Let's have some more news. I want to give you a couple, three updates right here in a row and get them out of the way instead of spreading them out. A jealous boyfriend has been sentenced in a connection with an outburst at the market at Sawgrass Grove in the Villages. Robert John Wozniak, 65, of Wildwood, pleaded no contest this past week on a charge of battery in Sumter County Court. He has been placed on probation for 1 year. And that's the update on him. Here's another update. I think we reported these guys last week, or at least this one guy last week, for getting picked up for shoplifting at Walmart. A second suspect has been tracked down in a skip-scanning heist at the Walmart in the Villages. Cameron Followell, 30, of Fruitland Park, was taken into custody Friday at the Circle K on US 301 in Wildwood. He had been sought in connection with a January 25 theft at Walmart at Sarasota Plaza in the Villages. Another suspect, 25-year-old Austin Ford of Lady Lake, had been arrested earlier in the week in connection with the January 25 incident. And there you go. We got the update on that case. They have a second suspect in custody. And here's the update on our third person. Villager accused in a fatal country club attack will be calling on a prestigious expert witness as he mounts a defense. Villager Dean William Zook, 85, died in July while in hospice care at UF Health Shands Hospital in Gainesville. Zook was allegedly attacked by 76-year-old Robert Edward Moore of the village of Polo Ridge in the parking lot of Glenview Country Club. Moore was apparently enraged on the evening of June 28th when he walked out of the country club and believed that Zook's vehicle had struck his black Lexus in the parking lot. Moore allegedly began punching Zook before realizing it wasn't his Lexus. So there's the update on what's happening with him. Let's get into some news. I'm going to report this. They do this. This is the second year that the Wildwood Police has had this annual 5K run for autism awareness. I'm not going to read all of it because it's a long ad, but it'll give you an idea. The Wildwood Police Department is preparing its second 5K for autism awareness set for April 20th at Wildwood City Hall. The department will have partnered with Run Type Sports for a timed organized run starting on Wander Street right outside City Hall for all competitive runners. The event starts at 7:15 a.m. God, who gets up at that hour? With the race kicking off at 9 a.m., medals will be awarded to the first, second, and third place winners for each division. The cost is $30 for runners ages 18 and older, while the cost for those 17 and younger is $10. The price will increase closer to the event, so the department recommends registering early at www.runsignup.com before the cutoff on April 5. Also, register before March 1st to get the exclusive Wildwood Police Department 2024 5K Autism shirt. All proceeds go to the Jack and Allie Foundation, ABLES, Applied Behavior Education and Life Skills. The ABLES Academy provides an educational environment that promotes a child-centered approach to learning, the development of functional life skills, and the advancement of family and community values. Sounds like a worthwhile project. What's happening around the villages? Just on the outskirts anyway. Wildwood's on the outskirts. All this is just around the outer edges of the villages. A Summerfield man was arrested after skipping a court date on driving violation. Gerardo Jimenez Hernandez, 24, was booked Friday night at the Sumter County Detention Center following his arrest on a Sumter County warrant, charging him with failure to appear on a charge of operating a motor vehicle without a valid license. Bond was set at $2,500. He was originally picked up on Wednesday by Marion County Sheriff's deputies and later transferred to the jail in Sumter County. An attorney who had been traveling in a Jaguar with his girlfriend was arrested after a commotion at Wawa. Pravesh Bobby Ramallah, 54, of Ocala, criminal defense attorney, was at the Wawa on US 301 in Oxford shortly before midnight Thursday. When officers were called to the scene, according to the arrest report, Ramallah and his girlfriend were shoving each other outside a white Jaguar SUV at pump 15. The girlfriend was pumping gas into the Jaguar SUV and Ramallah was trying to retrieve his phone from her. A witness said Ramallah attempted to wrestle with the woman while the gas pump nozzle was still in her hand. Can you picture this? A male Wawa employee dialed 911 while the female employee held the convenience store's doors closed after Ramallah's girlfriend sought shelter inside. An officer attempted to question Ramallah, who initially was reluctant to reveal his identity. It appeared he had been drinking. He claimed he had not been driving the SUV. Ramallah eventually revealed he is an attorney and began forcefully insisting he had not broken the law. "Do you think you know the law better than me?" said Bobby Ramallah. "I don't think you know me. You'll regret this tomorrow." Ramallah admitted he had been partying and said he had consumed maybe 3 Jamesons. I don't know what a Jameson is. Ramallah was asked to rate his level of intoxication on a scale of 1 to 10. "I'd say I'm at an 8, Ramallah told police officers. That's good. Hey, being truthful, what can I say? Ramallah was born in India, was arrested on a charge of disorderly intoxication. He was booked at Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $150 bond. Ramallah represented a villager in a mentoring situation that went awry. His client was later arrested on a charge of driving under the influence. Ramallah defended an orthopedic surgeon who practiced at the village's hospital and was snared in a prostitution sting in 2016. Ramallah defended a driver in the aftermath of a 2014 accident on Interstate 75, which claimed the life of George Phillips, who sold homes for property of the villages, Florida Highway Patrol Trooper Chelsea Richard, and tow truck operator John Dugan. A Mexican drunk driving suspect without a driver's license was arrested in a Cadillac that swerved over the line. Carlos, the name will be in the picture, 28 of Fruitland Park, was driving a red Cadillac sedan in the wee hours Sunday on U.S. Highway 301 in Wildwood when the vehicle drifted over the line several times, according to the arrest report. Ayala made a wide right turn on County Road 466A, prompting the deputy to initiate a traffic stop. Ayala offered the deputy his Mexican ID card. It appeared he had been drinking. The deputy used Google Translate to communicate with Ayala, who was born in Mexico. The deputy confirmed that Ayala does not have a driver's license issued to him in the United States. Ayala struggled through field sobriety exercises and provided breath samples that registered .162, .154 blood alcohol content. He was arrested on charges of driving under the influence and driving without a license. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $900 bond. An unlicensed driver from Guatemala was arrested for the 4th time for driving without a license after a traffic stop in the villages. Domingo Yohip Hugh, 39 of Lady Lake, was driving a tan Hyundai SUV at about 10 p.m. Friday in an area of County Road 466 and Morris Boulevard when a Sumter County Sheriff's deputy noticed that the SUV was traveling about 10 miles per hour under the speed limit. A traffic stop was initiated at the Haciendas of Mission Hills. Yohip was identified by his Guatemalan passport. The deputy confirmed he does not have a driver's license. Yohip was arrested on a charge of operating a motor vehicle without a license. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $150 bond. After the 4th time. Here's a short little informational piece about the golf courses here in the villages, and they're in such terrible shape in most areas of the villages. But I've noticed today after we drove around, it's not in all areas. The villages will shut down another golf course for rest and rehabilitation. Redfish Run Executive Golf Course will be closing Friday until further notice. Villager Sandra Prentice played Redfish Run and was aghast at its conditions. The greens are mostly bare, and sloppy sod planting was being done in spots on the course. My question is, how is it possible for it to be in such shape? Whoever is responsible for allowing this to happen, I hope, was fired. In a letter to the editor, Benusi said Villages founder Harold Schwartz would be rolling over in his grave. On Saturday, it was announced that the Bonita Pass Executive Golf Courses will be closing. Isn't it a shame that the residents have to raise hell about conditions on things when we pay the maintenance fees, amenity fees, all this money, millions and millions of dollars we pay every year to take care of these things, and that we have to complain because they're not being taken care of. A Wisconsin snowbird in a golf cart was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence after drinking beer at Cody's Original Roadhouse. That would be probably at Lake Sumter Landing. John Rubat, 68, of Minnemami Falls, Wisconsin, was driving a gold 2017 Easy Go golf cart shortly before 8 p.m. Monday, when he made a right turn without coming to a complete stop on Old Mill Run and Lake Sumter Landing. I say this all the time. It's done there all the time. There's a cop that'll sit down the road and just watch you guys roll stop that stop sign. During a traffic stop, Rubat was identified by his Wisconsin driver's license. It appeared he'd been drinking. He said he had consumed 2 beers at Cody's restaurant. 2 beers. It's always 2 beers. Multiple 12-ounce Yinglings were found in a black zipped bag with ice in the golf cart. A crushed can of Yingling beer was found at the rear of the golf cart. A black smoking device with a substance which tested positive for THC was found in the console area of the golf cart. Rubat performed poorly in field sobriety exercises. He provided breath samples that registered .068 and .073. That's legal, technically, except, let's read on, both below the legal limits of .08 blood alcohol content. He provided a urine sample. He was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence, possession of marijuana, and possession of drug equipment. He was ticketed for failure to stop at a stop sign. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center on a $1,500 bond. I knew that marijuana was going to get him. A villager was jailed after allegedly using a knife to threaten her live-in man friend. Luba Palermo, 55, who lives in the Rio Grande Villas, was booked without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center following her arrest Monday night on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Palermo's man friend told deputies that she charged at him with a knife during an argument, according to the arrest report. He said the native of Russia fled their home in his vehicle. Palermo told deputies the man had been holding the balloon and she had been attempting to stab the balloon. What? Let me hear that again. Palermo told deputies the man had been holding the balloon, and she had been attempting to stab the balloon. I have no idea what this crazy ass is talking about. She later said the balloon had been tied to a chair. The report noted that she made contradictory statements. The man stopped cooperating with deputies during the investigation. I don't blame you because it sounds like a whack job to me. That's the end of the story. That's it. That's all they got. Is that a crazy story or what? Wildwood commissioners approved the final plat Monday night for Wildwood Landing, a 101-lot subdivision east of County Road 462 and north of Beaumont development. The rental development of single-family homes will be built on about 27 acres. 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes will feature 2-car garages and large yards. Kitchens will feature granite countertops and stainless steel appliances. Amenities include a dog park, playground and walking trail. Pets are welcome with some restrictions. Pricing is not available yet according to the Wildwood Landing website. Homes will be rented on 12-month or longer leases. Landscape maintenance will be available for an additional fee. County Road 462, north of County Road 466A, has been a focal point for housing construction. Apartment projects include Beaumont Apartments, 336 units, Turkey Run, 325 units, Salomar, 243 units, and the Villas, 192 units. The Triumph subdivision west and south of County Road 462 has more than 200 single-family homes in its first two phases. Sue and I did video of that whole area over there showing the construction. I believe there's an area over there also, I want to say rent to own. I'm not a fan of that, but I mean it's there, and we showed you this whole area where they're building and how much more they're going to build. There's going to be a Wawa built over there. So if you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. A son of a couple in the Villages has been arrested on a charge of voter fraud. David Robert Morgan, 62, who lives with his parents in the village of Santo Domingo, was arrested Wednesday at their home on Oviedo Court on a warrant charging him with voter fraud. He was booked at Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $2,500 bond. The Illinois native cast a mail-in ballot in October 2022 after submitting a voter registration application on August 18, 2022, according to the voter fraud complaint submitted by the Sumter County Supervisor of Elections, William Keene. As a convicted felon, Morgan still owed more than $3,000 in court fees, which Keene said would have made Morgan ineligible to vote when he cast the mail-in ballot in 2022. Morgan has a long history of arrests. Last year, he got into an altercation with a woman. When the police investigated the incident, Morgan admitted he had been drinking, which was a violation in the terms of his probation. He was arrested in 2021 after unexpectedly showing up at the home of his estranged girlfriend on the historic side of the Villages and punching her 4 times near her right eye with his fist. He threw her to the ground and attempted to choke her. In February 2020, Morgan was arrested after a woman told law enforcement that he called her a bitch as he punched her and held her to the ground on the bed by her throat. In 2019, Morgan had been employed as a server at Red Lobster in the Villages, but quit his job and left with $179.85 that belonged to the restaurant, according to the arrest report. When he interviewed by a deputy at his home, Morgan turned over the money. Morgan said he quit his job because the manager was being disrespectful to him. This guy disrespects everybody, and he's concerned about somebody disrespecting him. Isn't that funny? A villager who is suspected of shoplifting at Walmart has been tracked down thanks to her Lexus. Karen Ray Stockman, 68, was arrested on a charge of theft Thursday at her home at 2103 Odessa Circle in the village of St. James. The Michigan native was caught on surveillance Sunday leaving the Walmart at Sarasota Plaza in the Villages without paying for $86.92 worth of merchandise. Stockman went to the self-checkout lane and scanned the item, but made no attempts to pay for the scanned items, according to the arrest report. The incident was captured on video surveillance. She left the store in a white Lexus. A detective used a law enforcement database to connect Stockman to the Lexus. Her driver's license photo was a match for the woman caught on her surveillance at the store. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $150 bond. An uninsured habitual traffic offender was arrested after a traffic stop at a recreation center in the Villages. Kylie Lynn Root Yarby, 42 of Leesburg, was driving a 2014 Toyota Camry at about 5:30 p.m. Tuesday southbound on Morse Boulevard and Bonita Boulevard when a deputy noticed the vehicle had an expired license plate. A traffic stop was initiated at the Colony Cottage Recreation Center. The deputy found that Root Yarby has been classified as a habitual offender and currently has a 5-year revocation of her driver's license. She admitted she does not have automobile insurance. She claims she only drove because her smaller child was sick. The Boynton Beach native says she has applied for a hardship license but has been denied. She had been convicted 7 times for driving while license suspended. She was arrested on a felony charge of driving while license suspended, a misdemeanor charge of operating a vehicle without insurance. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $2,650 bond. Hey, look, I feel for people that has to work for a living, especially, mothers that have to buy groceries and all the things you need a car for. But you put yourself in this situation. Nobody did. You got to take responsibility for yourself. A Wildwood man is facing new charges of possessing pornographic images of girls under the age of 10 involved in graphic sexual situations. What the hell's happening in this world with these sick puppies? What is this? Mark Porter, 66, of the Rails End Mobile Home and RV Park on State Road 44 in Wildwood, was arrested Wednesday on 10 charges of possession of pornography. Many of the images were found on his Dell laptop, which was originally seized in January when a search warrant was served at his home on Lot 86. At the time, he was also found to be in possession of marijuana and drug paraphernalia. The new charges faced by the Detroit, Michigan Navies are the result of a forensic analysis of his laptop by the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. He had been free on an $18,000 bond following his initial arrest. After his arrest Wednesday, he was being held without bond at the Sumter County Detention Center. A daughter who was cut out of her father's will has been accused of ripping off her stepmother. Rita Marie Hazlitt, 63, of Lady Lake, has been arrested on warrants charging her with burglary and grand theft. She continued to be held without bond this week at the Lake County Jail. The stepmother had been away for Christmas, and when she returned home in January, she found her home had been burglarized, according to the affidavit of probable cause from the Lake County Sheriff's Department. The stepmother, who was the sole heir of the home and all of its contents after her husband died, discovered that jewelry, power tools, and a John Deere tractor were missing from her home. Hazlitt admitted she had entered the home and told deputies she believed it was her right to take her father's property. The stepmother said Hazleton was estranged from the family and was to receive nothing according to the will. A warrant was issued for Hazlitt's arrest. The Connecticut native had been arrested this past July on a charge of domestic battery. Sorry, kiddo, but it was your dad's stuff, and he decided you don't get any of it. You may think it's unfair, but that's his last will, his last wishes, and it has to be honored. An unlicensed driver from Guatemala was arrested after a traffic stop on US 301. Name will be on the picture. 28 of Summerfield was driving a white Nissan shortly before 6 a.m. Thursday southbound on US 301 in Wildwood when he was pulled over for having an inoperable taillights, according to the arrest report. 301 is where that guy got hit and killed. I'm just reminding you. During the traffic stop, Diaz Cano handed the deputy a Guatemalan identification card and admitted he does not have a driver's license. Diaz was arrested on a charge of operating a motor vehicle without a license. He was taken into custody and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. He was released after posting a $150 bond. A woman locked herself in a closet and dialed the 911 after a domestic battle at a home in the Villages. Sumter County deputies responded at about 6 a.m. Friday to a home in the Villages where they arrested 28-year-old Benjamin Philip Garvey on a charge of domestic battery. The woman told deputies that she and Garvey got into an argument over his refusal to take his medication. She said they had not slept all night. Their argument continued to escalate, and Garvey, who stands 6 feet 1 inches tall and weighs 190 pounds, pushed the woman, causing her to lose her balance, according to the arrest report. She locked herself in a closet and called 911. The address of the home was redacted from the arrest report. Garvey was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center, where bond for the Danbury, Connecticut native was set at $1,000. Why is a 28-year-old living here? I ask you. Aw, Austin, you're back again. He's always been such a good boy. A suspect tracked down after a skip scanning incident at a Walmart in the Villages is in more legal trouble. Austin Allen Ford, 25, of Lady Lake, was arrested last month after a tip generated thanks to social media in connection with a January 25 theft case at Walmart at Sarasota Plaza. Ford's alleged accomplice was also arrested. Ford was being held this week at the Lake County Jail following a revocation of his bond in a case in which he is charged with failure to return a rental car. The Leesburg native rented a gray 2021 Nissan Maxima on September 22 from the Enterprise Car Rental in Leesburg and indicated he would return it the next day. He failed to do so, but when he was called by Enterprise, he promised to immediately return the rental car. He never showed up. Despite numerous calls from Enterprise and a letter sent via FedEx, he did not return the vehicle. As a result of his arrest in October in that case, Ford had been free on a $2,000 bond. The Walmart arrest prompted a revocation of his bond in the rental car case. He is being held without bond this weekend. You would think they would learn. Okay, I'm going to go off on a little bit of a rant here. You may like it. You may not like it. If you don't want to hear it, I'm telling you right now, fast forward a little bit to the Holes and Ones or to the Letter City editor. I want you to look at this picture of this guy. What he's done or anything doesn't really make no difference, but I'll read a little bit. A Summerfield man had been indicted in a shooting death of another man which occurred last year. Now, Summerfield is just outside of the Villages. Look at this guy. Look what he's done to himself. People, if I could impress anything to anybody, I don't care if it's male, female, black, white, it doesn't make no difference. If they do this to themselves, they don't give a damn about you. I wouldn't let this guy step 1 foot on my property. I'd be calling the police, or I'd be getting my shotgun out saying, take 2 more steps, you're a dead man. This guy is a sick puppy. Don't trust anybody that looks like this. I don't care if you're going to send me an email saying, I've got a son that does that, and he's the nicest guy in the world. All your sons are nice, ain't they? That's how they end up on the news, because they've always been such a good boy. This kid has a psychological problem. If it was a female, I'd tell you the same thing. Do not trust these people. Stay away from him. He's a nut. Okay. Now I got that out of the way. How many holes in ones did we get in golf this week? Looks like 1. A Village of Bonita woman was thrilled after getting a hole-in-one. Delynn Perrault scored the lucky ace on Sunday, February 25 at hole number 9 from a gold tee box at Sweet Gum Executive Golf Course. I'm amazed that Sweet Gum this time of year is even playable. Well, congratulations on your hole-in-one, Delynn. I hope I pronounced your name correctly. How about some letters to the editor? We'll do a couple of those. To the editor, trolls are not the problem with reporting violations. It's the people thinking rules don't pertain to them. Why do the people complaining want to know who reported them? Maybe a separate company needs to enforce the most obvious violations so neighbors don't need to be put in the frustrating situation. You like your yard ornaments. Fine. Proudly display them in your backyard. That's sent in by Edward Wheeler from the Village of St. James. Well, thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. There's a lot of common sense in Ed's comment right there. Read it. To the editor, I've lived here since 2005, and I'm still waiting for 2 years in a row of good golf course conditions. It's either not enough rain or too much play, etc., etc. Can't figure out why they can't grow the proper grass or let it grow without cutting it down to the dirt. I've been noticing more and more complaints this year, as people still pay the yearly increases in green fees and trail fees and play golf. Why, you ask, does nothing get done? Because while people complain, they still pay to play. So why would whoever is in charge care? Mark Morris and family have ruined their grandfather's and father's plan. The Villages and surrounding towns will be another South Florida. P.S. Going to the movies is not an option anymore either. And it's not. That's sent in by Peter Capo, the Village of Poinciana. Well, as far as the movie thing goes, I want to comment on that. It ain't just here. I've noticed even from Indianapolis, where I come from, in Indiana, they're closing movie houses down, and there's just very few of them left. It goes back just like when drive-in theaters. When the indoor theaters with air conditioning and everything came about, drive-in theaters kind of disappeared. But what's happening to the movie theaters is pay to play, pay to view. It's your TV. They can watch all these movies on the comfort of their own house, and they don't have to go to the town anymore. So I think that's what's happening there. I was surprised that they kept the movie theater in Lake Sumter open and closed the Brownwood Theater, because the Brownwood Theater is 10 times better. It always has been. They seem to push that Lake Sumter area, pretty good. And I don't have anything against that theater other than the fact it doesn't really have good theater seating. And that's my big complaint there. Well, thank you for your comment there, Peter. I agree about the golf. It's crazy. Well, I think that's going to be the news this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks to all the new Patreon members. I appreciate it. So everybody, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. It helps the channel out a lot. So with that being said, I'm going to get out of here. Have a great day. Take care. Be safe. See you on the other side, and don't leave your keys in the golf cart.